What's going on, everybody? It's Quicksilver here, and I guess first of all, let me start out this video. I want to apologize to you guys. I think the last video, I don't know if I was having some audio difficulties or what the deal was, but it was pretty sucky compared to some of my other ones, so I apologize for that in advance. But let's see, talking today's video, I initially was intending to, I guess, get started on the record studio portion of this guy, but instead, what am I doing? Instead of that, I think it's going to be a little bit more of an odds and ends video, because there's some stuff that I needed to do and some stuff that I wanted to do and some things like that that I have done. I just want to kind of give you guys a recap on. First and foremost, I did finish out the mob, I guess we're calling this the mob tower, for lack of better terms, where Fight Club is and all the other good stuff. I finished out the top of that, and I will show you that. And what the other thing I did was I connected that to our Ender Pearl elevator here, so we can come up here and jump right up onto the rooftop here. I've got these four little, I guess 3 little pot lights that we've got working here. I did leave this open, so this will actually be where we're going to mess with our, I guess where we're going to divert the skeletons over for the record studio. So I needed to leave part of this open, but like I had mentioned before, that stuff you're seeing down there is what I'm calling our subfloor. Actually, you know what, I can do this. This is where all our redstone wiring was that made the actual, I guess the Fight Club work. And now I appear to be stuck in here. So I didn't think that through very well. But nothing's too bad, right? Okay, so there is that. I went ahead and I finished out the top of this. I kind of like how that turned out. Gives us a good visibility. There's actually kind of a pretty view everywhere here. Easy to hop up on top of, but kind of hard to fall off the edge, so I think it works out. Our way down into the record studio, or the record studio rather, our way down into the Fight Club. I'm really pleased with how it worked out. All our levers and everything that we've got. This is actually going to be where our, I think this is going to be where we're going to have our minecart elevator come up. Either that, or I'm going to make another staircase down. Maybe I do it over here. I could probably do it right here. Maybe hook it around here and then down underneath this first one. Maybe I'll do that, and that'll take us down to the record studio. But so that is that. Everything is working out here. We've got a little redstone room back here just for the levers. I don't think I'll ever really do anything back here, but you never know. So that is what all that stuff is. And then hopping back up here now, instead of having to jump around on the back side of the mob sorter, we can just hop down the steps here, run over here. The beauty of the Ender Pearl elevator is those strings catch us before we ever get to the big gaping hole in the ground. And then we're back up here and into the base proper. So I'm pleased with that. Let me see. I guess the other thing that I've done that was really a pretty big deal for me was I did some work on our chicken farm down there. You might notice he's a little fatter. He's got a little bit of a gut on him now. He's wearing his winter feathers is what I like to say. Which is an excuse for I had a problem that I wanted to resolve with him, and I did it, but I needed just a tiny bit more room to do it. So I gave myself some creative license. He's, like I said, he looks a little chubby now. He's not quite like the true Minecraft chicken, thanks to this gut that he's got, but that's okay. I can live with that. He still looks chicken-like, and I'm really pleased with him. Here's the problem that I was having, guys, is that and that. All those damn eggs, what was happening was they were gumming up the system in here. And I didn't mind when I had just a couple of them, but they were backing up all the hoppers. Everything was all just a big giant mess in there. And the reason being is the kill chamber that we've got up there, where we let the chickens mature and then we burn them with lava to make the cooked chicken. It was filling up so fast that before the chickens that were in there could be cooked off, they were laying a bunch of eggs. So it was really backing up the system. My chicken wasn't coming down into it, and it was causing problems. So what I've done is basically made a giant mess up in here. Let me see if I can hop up and out. Basically, what I've done, if you remember this, if you don't remember this, I've got a tutorial on how to build this guy, which might help you understand a lot of what's going on in here, at least the stuff that I'm not going to explain to you. Or I think I may have shown how to do this in the video that I did where I built this thing. But right here, these hoppers are all collecting the drops from the chickens that are in there, and that's where the eggs were coming from. So basically, I've got a middle collection plate, and everything kind of circles around, and then right here, I built an item sorter that grabs our eggs. I've got flint laying around out the yin yang, so I just use that. So if we pick up an egg, it gets sent down into this bottom sorting area. The one that's on the outside edge is over here. Let's just run over here really fast. Right out to here, and then around the side and around the back, and filtered into right here, which is an item elevator. And this is the new little tummy of the chicken that we're standing in here, where we use the little item elevator to sort it and send everything up into here, which then sends the eggs back into the chicken shooter. That's what I like to call it, which is where the eggs that come from the chickens that are supposed to be laying eggs up the top, where those go into. So basically now we've got two sources for eggs. I also made it so I can get up here and actually walk around, so he has a little bit more shoulder than he normally did. So the chickens that are right here that are supposed to lay eggs can lay their eggs and send them into the dispenser right here. And the eggs that come up the item elevator pop up right here, and they feed into the same hopper that I guess the guys up here are laying their eggs to go into, and then they can dispense into the chicken shooter. To make all this happen, I actually had to raise up this stuff. Can I get up here? Yeah, I can get up here right here. Maybe I can't. Only the truly gifted can. There we go. I had to raise up this stuff and all this other good stuff because I was getting some cross wiring. Then actually I had to move. I originally had this block over here that was powering this hopper, but anyway, I was getting some weird cross wiring going on, so I had to raise that up a block too. So basically the biggest challenge I had was the item elevator, which is really simple to build. I was getting a lot of cross wiring that was locking the hoppers, so I had to unlock all those and move some stuff around in here. I kind of wish I had built this on screen with you guys, but honestly there was so much trial and error in here, I'm not sure how I would have begun to do it. So anyway, rest assured I will try and explain some of the other stuff here a little bit better. One thing I am kind of proud of, and I'm going to show you this in my contraption world here in just a minute, I came up with kind of a really compact way to sort the eggs that are getting laid in here. It's not a very reliable method for if you have a lot of items that you're sorting, but if you just have one or two things that you know are going to be coming through here at a time, it's I think it works, at least so far it seems like it works pretty beautifully. So let's go ahead and head over to my contraption world, and I will explain how this is working. So actually before we do, the one other thing that I'm kind of pleased with myself on was I wanted kind of a compact timer. I know, and I think the tutorial that I've given you guys on item elevators and things like that, which is I think actually part of the sorting tutorial that I did, I've always had more of a complicated kind of a timer to make sure these things work, and I finally figured out it's stupid to do that. There's a real easy way to get a really good timer that is real easy to use. Basically pull your comparator off of your bottommost dispenser is that right? Yeah, dispenser that's going to have your items going up. So your comparator signal comes off of that, feeds into that block. Throw a torch onto there. Where the hell did that come from? Weird. Throw a torch on there so that when this thing has items in it, it'll turn that torch off, which means that this redstone reverts to its normal state, and it will actually let this thing then power up. So there's a torch on this block, a block above it, a comparator that faces this way on 2 ticks feeding into this block. So this creates your little timer that's locked when that thing is on. So it's really basic, really simple. But let's see if I can get over here quickly and easily. I don't think I can. Let's do it this way. Alright, so then when that happens, this block is getting power, so I just pulled my signal off of this so that I could feed it around and back into our chain. This could be a lot more compact if you had more space to work with, but because I had this little skinny narrow area to work with, I think that worked out really well. So alright, now that I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and take us over into the contraption world, and I'll explain how that little timer is working for the one item sorter, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So I will see you guys over there in just a minute. Alright, here we are in the contraption world. So this is it. Whoa. Holy jumpy lag. That was weird. Okay, hopefully that won't keep going. If it does it again, I will see if I can't fix it. But for the time being, that should work. Alright, pretty much this is just like any other item sorter. You have your hopper chain, which is basically a big pipe that I've got bending around a corner here to feed items into this chest. But I want to sort one item out, which is what we had going on inside the chicken. So I have another hopper down here that's not facing into anything, and that's what we're actually going to program as our filter. And then below that we have another hopper chain that is just feeding down here. Ultimately, I could put a chest down here if I wanted to, or in the case of what we did in the chicken farm, I had a little trail of these things going, and then the hopper going up with the timer and all that good stuff. So what this thing is set up to do is our lovely cacti, and I'm using gunpowder to hold it. I have 41 items here, and then I have 3 in the other slots, because we need a little bit stronger signal than the other types of these that I've done. So we need more than just one signal going through here. We need enough to get 2 redstone signals out of this, and almost a third. So, and I found, just through some trial and error really, that 41 items, well 40, I guess 43, 44, plus that one, 45 items is enough to give us 2 signals for a redstone pulse here, and a 46th item gives us a third. So what happens is our redstone signal is going down here and stops, but as soon as we get another signal in here, it puts power up onto here, which powers this block, which then turns this torch off, effectively letting the filter run items down through here. So when we throw things in here, we got 32 cactuses that I'm throwing in here. You'll notice this thing will actually burn out. If you listen, you hear that little hissing sound. So that's why I say it's not 100% reliable. I have seen, if I throw 2 stacks of eggs in the one, for example, in the chicken farm, I have seen some eggs that will actually still go down into the chest where the chicken is, which I don't want. But if I throw, I don't think I'm ever going to have enough chickens in the system that are laying that many eggs that quickly. I think I'm going to have 1 egg at a time pass through here, which seems to be very reliable. So I'm not too concerned. But there's all of our I'm sorry, I should have told you guys I had 35 in here to begin with. There's our 32. We'll go ahead and pass these guys just so you can see it. So there are 35 down here, so you can see them counting up now. So that is how that works. It's not as compact or stackable as the other method that I describe in the item sorting tutorial. So if you need something that you can have like a long row chest and you want to sort a whole bunch of items, do not use this. It's not a very good method for it. If you can find a way to use this setup, that's great. But other than the fact that it's very small, you only need a comparator, a torch, and 3 blocks of three redstone dust to make it do its thing. You don't need to worry about having another repeater in here and all that good stuff. But I think it's a pretty cool little system if you need it for anything. I'm not even sure what I was doing over here. Oh, this was actually another attempt to get some power around another area in there, but pay no attention to that. That's just useless. Then also, just because I have you guys here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you that other system that I was talking about. So basically, if you place down a block, this is for the timer that I was talking about. Place down a block, put a redstone dust next to it. We put a redstone torch on top of that, and then we're going to put a redstone repeater on top of the block on 2 ticks. Then we'll put a block behind that, and I'm just holding down shift and placing it so that I don't actually increment the timer on that, and we put another one here. We end up with this nice little clock going. So the only thing that I did to lock it then was I went ahead and I placed a redstone torch here, and then that locks it. So when that thing goes off, as in the case of, well, I'm going to do it this way, but if we had a comparator that was feeding signal, it turns that torch off, then our timer goes back on. We can pull power out of this block or out of this block, or we can pull it out of this redstone signal down here. Actually, you can't pull it out of the redstone signal down there, sorry guys. So it looks like out of either of these blocks. So in the case of what I've done inside the chicken, I have pulled the power from this timer off of that, and I think I walked it up was what I did to get it around this stuff, and then to where I needed it to go. I think I wired it around a corner by doing this, and then I threw a redstone torch here so that I could have that pulsing on and off and run it down to the oh, what am I trying to say to you guys? I don't think I can do it that way. What am I thinking? I think I had it sorry guys. I think I had it wired this way so that I could run that down and into our redstone. This was our hopper that we had here. So our hopper was doing, I think our hopper was there. So I had a redstone torch tower, I guess we can call it. So for some vertical wiring, it was doing this. And yeah, that was actually what I did, was that number. So that gets our redstone power going up, and then this was our hopper, and so this was our comparator feeding off of there, and all that happy stuff. So that's how that big thing worked. And then when this thing wasn't giving it a signal because there's nothing in the bottommost dropper, then boop, we get that. So it stops the clock from going. So there you go. There's a little more detail for you on that. But yeah, that's how I got the chicken. I guess the chicken farm, really, the automatic chicken farm, to go ahead and refeed itself the eggs that are dropped by the chickens that are inside of the system. So I'm pleased with how that turned out. I think we'll be able to see some benefits from it maybe the next video or two. If I'm doing some work around the base anyway, I can certainly show you guys, but I'm not sure how far away from that thing I can be for it to continue producing. But I think as we work on the mob on the record studio, maybe we'll actually be able to see some progress in that thing as well. But we might be too far away. We'll have to do some trial and error, and we'll figure it out. But yeah, that's what I guess we're kind of looking at. And I guess at this point, I think we probably still have some time left in the video, so I'm going to head back over and maybe we'll get started on the record studio. Okay, so we don't have as much time left as I thought we might have. Typical of myself, I have decided to be long-winded and kind of used up some of our time. So, true to my word though, I did get a start on the record studio, and I will show you what we've got there. I guess the first thing to show you is I pointed out this little hole in the roof earlier, because my original plan, which I have now rethunk, was where the skeletons come down through this little spigot, let's call it the skeleton faucet, where they come down through there. My original thought was I would have a sticky piston or something up here or in here somewhere that would just pull a block over or up, and we'd just divert the water, and then we'd move them down and drop them down another channel. Don't like that idea. Found a much better solution to it, or at least I think it's a much better solution. I hope it's a much better solution to it that doesn't involve me tearing up anything more in here, having water flood everywhere, pissing off my golem. Yeah, I'm talking about you, buddy. Or any of that nasty stuff. So what I've decided to do instead is I'm using kind of part of a notch door, and I'll show you that in a minute. I think they're called notch doors. If not, then hey, that's just what I guess I'm calling them. For right here, and actually what I've done basically is I'm opening this up, and when the skeletons drop out of here, they will just go shooting down here. Now, I'm a little concerned because this guy might piss me off and kill him on the way down, because he kind of likes to stalk these things when they're dropping out. If that's the case, I'm not sure what I'll do. Oh, you menace, get out of here. I'm not sure what I'll do if that's the case. I don't know how I can keep him out of it. Maybe I could put a block. I could probably put an extra block in here like that. Actually, probably a half block might do it, because these guys are 3 blocks tall. Can I jump in here? Not really. So he might not be able to. That's actually maybe a good idea. If I do this on all of these guys, both of these guys, I think I can keep him from really being able to completely stalk the mobs. And that means that when they drop out, they'll be kind of safe right here. I hope. Come on, try and get over here, buddy. Let's see if you can do it. Maybe we can try and push him there. Yeah, I don't seem to be able to push him up there. Yeah, excellent. So I don't think he can get on a mob platform now, because this is actually 2.5 blocks high. And since he's a 3-block high mob, they'll be safe-ish right there, which is good. That'll give him a little more chance to run around as well. I may change that wood out for smooth stone, but I don't know. I kind of like the way that looks. Maybe we'll leave it. Anyway, the skeletons will drop down to the next floor below, which I've actually already built out. And I'll go ahead and we'll hop down there and I'll show you what we've got. I will use a water break to keep them from getting killed, but I'm using half of a notch door, or like I said, what I'm calling a notch door. And this is really ugly, guys. I apologize for the way that it looks. I will clean it up. I'm thinking I'm going to have another little control panel wall over here, and I may move this over another block or so. But basically, yeah, this is what I call a notch door. What we've got is we have 3 sticky pistons in a little array here. There is a 4-tick delay on powering these 2. This one actually gets power from the other side of this block, which is actually pretty cool. I actually initially had a bunch of redstone that was visible over here, and right now all we have that's going to be visible in the end, I think, is going to be this one little repeater, because I'm probably going to have a wall right here. I don't know, maybe. I might have a wall right there. Maybe I'll just have it break around this way, and then we can leave this open. That will work. So anyway, I'll have a wall over there. So what happens is when we hit this lever and flip it up, it takes a second for these guys to power up. This block immediately gets power. So when this pushes over, it shoves this sticky piston and this block over, and they get powered immediately and shoot this block up into that space. When we flip this lever back down, this power immediately powers off, so our piston pulls this block back down, and these two are still extended, and then a second later they pull these two back in position like that. So what we end up with is this, and then when we turn it off, we get that. So like I said, I think it's a variation on the notch door, where you have, you know, 4 blocks right here, and you have the same kind of a piston array working. I guess I'm using my hands to try and show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, welcome to the internet. Anyway, yeah, if you don't know what a notch door is, I think you could probably you search it on YouTube and find it probably pretty easily. But it's the same kind of a premise, where you have an opening and you have a seamless, there's no visible doorway there. So in this case, when we have that thing closed, you can't see anything. There's nothing that that kind of gives us away as anything to do with a mob, or a doorway, or a pathway in this case, for skeletons to drop down. Now the other thing that I'm a little concerned about, and this might fry me, but I'm not really sure what I can do about it. I can probably put some glass in on the sides of these things. I'm worried that the skeletons won't funnel directly down, so there may be some trial and error that I'll have to do with that, and I'll probably do that before the next video so that I can make sure that it works. But yeah, I think other than that, all I've got left to do is throw in my little platforms here for the creepers to land on here, and the skellies to land on here, and then I guess I'll block everything off, and I've got to make it so that the skeletons can see me over here where the creepers are, so they'll shoot the creepers, which might be kind of difficult because I don't want the creepers to explode. I don't know, I'll figure something out, guys. Anyway, I think we're probably getting a little bit long on this video, so I am going to call it quits here. The dirt blocks here, incidentally, just represent the glass tubes that I'm going to have in place so that I can try and control the mobs as much as possible. I'll put my water break really right below this this piston array that I've got kind of working here. In fact, no, I don't have any water, any water on me right now. But the water drops, I think I've done them before with you guys. If you don't know them, then I'll be amazed. It's pretty much just this array right here. You drop a sign on the wall there, and you throw a water block in here. So the water stays put, the mobs fall through the water, it resets their drop height, and they take no damage when they fall down. Which is what we want, because we want to make sure that the skeletons are alive to shoot our creepers, and that our creepers are alive to be killed by the skeletons. Like I said, I'll have all this mess behind the wall. And actually, before we sign off here, let me go ahead and just give you a quick little run through on the redstone. I kind of, like I said, I built this on my own without you guys watching it, so I feel a little bad about that, but I really wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to do it, and I knew we were close on time, so I figured that might be the best bet. So alright, redstone description. This lever, when we flip it, it puts power into this block either on or off. Right now it is off, therefore this redstone torch is on that's connected to the back of it. If we flip it, that redstone torch goes off and the signal here changes state, either off or on. So because we have this engaged right now, I guess everything is on. We want our redstone to go through here. Then we needed to get a little bit more length out of it, but we also needed to invert the signal, so it was kind of fortunate. So I've got a block here that's got power, therefore this torch is unpowered, which means the redstone that connects to it is also unpowered. I'm sending it up this little staircase, and yes, outside the tower, and it makes an ugly little stain on the back of the tower, but it's not that bad, and it's on the side of the tower that's underneath all this crud, so you don't really see it anyway, so I'm not going to worry about it. So back to the redstone path. Redstone continues up here, and when it hits right here on this block, two things happen. One, it bends over to the left, which sends power into or out of this block, which has, actually, let me tell you what, let me do this so we can get up here, into this block that has a redstone torch on it. Redstone torch feeds power into this redstone repeater that is on 4-tick delay, that feeds into our oh man, I didn't want to do that. Feeds into our two sticky pistons, here and here, which causes both of them to extend over. Going back up here, the second thing that happens where this power goes into this block, because there's redstone on top of this block is powered. Therefore, we can throw a torch down on this side of it, and if the block is powered, that torch goes off. If it's not powered, the torch comes on like it is right now. We send our signal through here, and then into this block. On the other side of this block is where our piston that extends up is, which is that guy right there. So because he's got power going in, because we have power going into that block, that piston is picking up the power from the block next to it and extending up with our wood block on top of it, and that's how we close the whole circuit. So when we do this, we're reversing it, we're pulling power out of this block that I've got my cursor on right here, therefore that thing pulled down, and then because there's a delay on that repeater, it takes a couple seconds before it unpowers these two pistons and sucks everything back over. So there you go, guys. That is the general plan. I will probably, I don't know, I may build this thing with you guys on screen. I don't want to necessarily build out all the rest of this. This is just going to be a glass tube that goes up here for the creepers, but we will have our water break in here, and then this will be a glass tube in as many places I can get it, which means over here, and I guess to here. Now that'll actually be a pretty solid tube then when the skeletons drop down through it. But anyway, so that way we can control them on this end of things. Like I said, the only thing that's going to be a little bit of a trick for me is going to be trying to get the skeletons to shoot at the creepers without the creepers seeing me and exploding. So might be a little bit of a challenge, but I will try and figure something out. Maybe I'll actually have my creepers landed water, so if they do blow up, they don't destroy all this stuff that we've got built out here. So, alright, I think that is going to be it for me, guys. I'll call this the end of the episode. If you liked what you saw, please leave me a like, give me a thumbs up, all that good stuff. Tell your friends about it, blah, blah, blah. If you really liked what you saw, go ahead and subscribe, and I will keep putting these things out, and I will catch you guys next time.